welcome back there, YouTube. Today we're going to finish our outdoor furniture. We already built that table, so now I'm going to show you how I built these chairs. We've got 2 Adirondack chairs and 1 rocking chair to go along with it. So I'll show you how I made this from these boards right here. So just got some Douglas fir at the home center, and I was on my hands and knees trying to pick out the best boards possible, but this is what I ended up with. Now, like any project that you're going to have repeatable cuts, it's best to make some templates. So I had this piece of about 1/4 inch MDF lying around. Thought that'd be perfect. So with my paper templates, I went ahead and traced everything on there, and then cut everything as close to the line as I could, as you see me do now. And they're all cut. And the reason I use this 1/4 inch MDF is right here, so you can sand it a whole lot easier. So it took a little time, sanded it right up to the line, got it looking nice, neat, perfecto. And just like that, I got my templates made, just so I could take these templates and turn around and trace them onto some 3/4 inch MDF, like so. The reason I'm doing this, so I have the 1/4 inch MDF so I can make repeatable templates, and I have the 3/4 inch so I can actually cut the pieces with. So copy those on there, cut them down rough size, and then with the old router bit, flush trim bit, route them on perfect. Just like this. So now that I have my templates off screen, I went ahead and put some poly on them because I'm going to put this double-sided tape on and off, on and off. These should last for a long time. And I have the 1/4 inch templates if I need to make more. Finally, we're able to trace those templates onto the lumber and start making rough cuts. And we're going to make a lot of them because we're doing 3 chairs. So here's all the pieces it's going to be for 3 chairs. And that's all the scraps. It was a lot. And you know me, I sand everything through the planer. Gonna get everything down, saves you time on sanding, and gets everything uniform to the correct same thickness. And here I'm using way too much tape, which I figured out later on. But take this chunky, blocky piece of wood, send it through this nice spiral upcut, downcut bit, and just eats through it like butter. Look at that. This has got to be one of my favorite parts of woodworking, is taking something like that and sending it through the router and getting that nice smooth finish on it. And here I'll show you. One board that's not routed. Ugh. A nice smooth one, yes. So now I got to do all these. It's going to be a fun day. And here you can see I finally learned my lesson using less tape. Get every little piece on there. Just take your time and watch those fingers. Got 10 of them. Want to leave this earth with 10. Finally, we can start cutting all our angles. We can start cutting all of our angles down. Got tons of 6-degree angles for the cross sections, and then angles for the feet. I think like 15 degrees and other degrees. Every once in a while, I'll stop, read the plans, make sure I'm doing everything right. Change the miter saw, and keep making cuts. Make sure the angle's right. Beautiful. Throw some sawdust. Keep going. Now we got everything cut down, routed down, so everything's down to the correct final size. We are now ready to put a round over on everything, or most of everything, a bunch of parts. So start making some square blocky chunks of wood into some nice rounded, smooth cornered, good feeling lumber. And finally, our first assembly part. You've seen some of my other videos, my loose tenon and jig, so that's what I did here. Not really for strength. It's going to hold some strength, but mainly just for placement and alignment. So put 2 of them on there so it can't twist on me. Squeeze them on there pretty tight. And clean that glue. There we go. Then I'll set those aside to dry. And while those are drying, the middle cradles, the back cradle middle section, gets a 30-degree bevel on it. So I take the old Harbor Freight bandsaw out, tilt the table, and because of the angle of mine tilts, I had got a cut on the bottom section, so it was fun to try to keep that in line, but it worked out. And because we're doing 3 chairs, you gotta do this 3 times. And you can see all those holes in that piece of wood from the wormholes. When I'm done cutting these, I went ahead, as you can see there, put some epoxy in all the pieces that needed it. And now that those legs are dry, I can clamp them to the table. And we're going to put some big old screws in this thing. So I made a reference line that I could try to follow to keep it straight. And with a 1/2 inch Forstner bit so I can plug it in the flathead screw. It's a Phillips or Star bit, but it's got a big flat head on it, pan head. Will fit down in there nice and snug. So take a big long bit, pre-drill, Butamus, Excelente, put that paper tape on there so I know, and then drove these big old screws down in there. This thing ain't going nowhere. She's here to stay. And like I said, I can throw some more plugs in there, clean that glue up, move that along. Check my epoxy now. It is not dry, still tacky. Nothing to do but sit around and wait. And wait I did. I waited until the next morning. And it was cold. So I drank some coffee. I threw a softball down on the table to give me motivation. Because I'm about to be here for hours and hours doing sanding. So the softball's there because I'm making this whole set. And I'm going to raffle them off for our softball team to raise some money. Get us some new bats and some tournament fees. So I put it there, some motivation, keep me going, and I just started sanding and sanding. And because it's outdoor furniture and I'm going to be using that penetrating oil, I just sanded to 120. So it wasn't too terrible, but it still wasn't fun. And when I got tired of sanding, I sanded more. And as you can tell, it went from jacket to short sleeve shirt and a fan real quick. That table that I built in the previous video, if you're wondering how strong it was, it is holding 3 chairs right now. All routed and sanded and ready to be put together. So let's go ahead and put some finish on them. I decided to use this bare penetrating oil that you can get at Home Depot, the premium. That way for whoever the lucky person is that gets this can easily go to Home Depot, buy a gallon of this, and can reapply oil for years and years to come. So these will last a long time. I got a cedar undertone, and before I went applying it everywhere, I put it on some test pieces of the offcuts, and that's what it looks like. I like it, so we're going with it. And just like that, we start rubbing it on. And we rub it on thick and let it sit there and just marinate in it. And just get nice and oily. And after it's been sitting on there a few minutes, we take another cloth and wipe off any oil that's just sitting. We don't want any standing oil on it. And as you'll see, before this process is done with all these pieces, I'm going to have a 3-rag process because my wipe off oil rag almost became an oil rag. It was so dirty. So wipe it on, rub it in, let it set, wipe it off, move on to the next one, and repeat the process. And wouldn't you know it, before long we had them all done. And here's my 3-rag process. That's my wipe on rag, wipe off rag, and then the wipe off rag. And now everything's just sitting out in the sun, just baking, drying. This stuff actually dried to the touch in about an hour and a half and is ready to go. But here's all the pieces scattered everywhere except for the 2 rocking pieces are inside the shed. Drying, everything else is right there. So finally, let's start putting this thing together. So make a few reference lines, a couple marks so I hit the middle of the board. Take a 3/8 inch Brad Point bit, not Brad Pitt. Pre-drill a hole so I can plug them. Take a big drill out a big hole, and then with the little drill bit, a smaller hole, which you'll see here. So, small drill, Butamus, hold it there. Now I can screw it together. Every hole that I drilled took 4 attempts, which you'll see. It was a long process, but I didn't want to split any wood. So you'll see right here. I mark where I want it, take it off, and with the 3/8 inch bit, I will do my plug hole, so my countersink, and then I take a drill bit that's almost the size of the screws and drill through that piece, and then with the adjoining piece, a smaller drill bit for my pilot hole, and then I can finally screw it into that hole. And just like that, the base of this chair is ready to go. Look at that, beautiful. And the rocking chair is the same thing, just the legs a little bit shorter. They're not as long. So, same thing, mount it to my table, put the one side on, other side, do the back slat here, or cradle. Countersink, big drill, little drill, screw. I'm gonna be doing that a lot. A lot. Man, that's nice. And that one's done. So now I can take this little jig so I can hold it up. I want that front section, the top of it, to be at 14.5 inches. And I'm going to put one screw through the side of these front legs, right in between those two screws. And then I pick out two arm pieces that's going to look right. And because I don't like my back, you're going to see me lifting this thing up and down a lot. So I take my little jig that the little man has right there. So I hold it 2 inches from the front and 1 inch in from the side. Drill out my big hole. Countersink. Pre-drill, screw her down. Just one screw right now. And just like that, and here you can see I just have one screw into the legs because they will fold up. So I'm going to fix that right now. So we're going to be putting some 3/8 inch bolts through the sides here to hold these legs on. This is where all the weight's going to be, so we want it on there where it's not going to fall, break, crack. It should be good to go. So get me two holes, pound it in there, and then I get in the way here so you couldn't see it, so I'll show you on this side. Take your bolt, smash it in there, and then we put a big washer, a lock washer, and then a nut. And we take the impact drill there and suck her down. Drive her on home. And do that again. So there you go, 2 in each leg. That is not going nowhere. So now I take that middle cradle that I cut that 30-degree bevel on and I clamp it to the arms. And I take a level so I can get it not centered, but yeah, pretty much centered. I want equal distance on each side. That way this thing won't be on there cockeyed. So get the level touching the arm, make sure it's level, get a measurement, and then adjust accordingly. Because there's only one screw on the arms right now, they can swivel side to side, so we'll move it over a little. Oh, yes, you like. Give it a little mark. And when we got it this equal distance, we're going to throw in a couple screws just to temporarily hold it in place. One last checky check. Beautiful. And like I said, I don't like my back, so let's move it back to the ground. And a 3/8 inch hole all the way through. Take me a bolt, send her on home, fasten it down, and we'll move to the other side. And because that was so fun, I decided to go ahead and pick this up again and put the other bolts on top of the table. So we're going to have 2 bolts on the front of each leg and 2 bolts on the back of each arm. So this thing should be sturdy. Send her on home. There we are. Go ahead and finish putting the other screws in the arms, and off screen I did not show, but I also put the little arm brackets up under there. You'll see after a while. Now I'm going to find the center of the top and bottom piece. Pick it up once again. I'm going to clamp this little piece of MDF down. That way I can put these slats on it and not have to hold them. I'm going to measure 3/4 of an inch up, so it's going to hit dead center in the middle of that back piece. I'm going to find the center of the slat. I line it up, and here's where the fun really starts. So with the 3/8 inch Forstner bit, I countersink for a plug. I take it out. This is all real time too, each piece. Big drill bit, goes through the slat, because I definitely do not want to split one of these right now. Getting close to the end. So put a big hole through there, that way the screw won't split that and all the force will be going to the back. Now a small drill bit for my pre-drill. And finally, I can go get a screw. How much fun I'm having. And we can send that one home. Yeah, I'd say. And when that one's nice and secure, we'll go ahead and again, we're going to do the same thing to the middle cradle now. Now this middle piece is going to be the only one that I screwed to this middle one until the very end, which you'll see why coming up. So put that middle one, as you can see, that screw up there in the middle is the only one, and then here I'm working my way across on these bottom ones. So 3/8 inch, big drill, little drill, screw. And to keep these aligned at the bottom, it's just by eyesight, just whatever kind of looks good to you, which you'll see what I do here. So all 5 of them, put up there, spread them out, what looks even, and then I'll take a pencil and mark them so I know exactly where to put them back on that board. Nice. So same deal, work your way across. And now since the middle one is the only one that is screwed to the middle, all these other ones can move around. So this top cradle, I'm going to find the center of it. I measured down 2 inches on the back slats, and I'm going to screw that center one on into the middle of that, and then I can adjust this thing and spread them out. And to the back side, I'll screw all these in. And as you can see, I've finished the back side and the middle part there, and I plugged everything. So now working on the seat. Put all the seat slats down, and then with the pencil, just going underneath and scribing the pencil mark. And these, I believe, are roughly around 6 degrees. So I got all those cut. Now I lined all of them up flush on one end, and I'll take the 3/8 inch router bit and round over bit and go over them, and then give them a nice little sanding, and then reapply the oil. And then all the plugs, I flush cut all those, sanded all those, and had to reapply the oil to all those areas as well. So once that's done, I can start, like I said, sand it, oil it, and then I can start fastening them. So again, take a 1/8 inch spacer bit, goober, 1/8 inch spacer made out of wood. And put there, did my pre-drills, countersink, big drill, little drill. Get it in there right, line it up, there you go. So now, pre-drill, screw her on down, and just work my way all the way across. And just like that, it's on there. That chair is almost complete. Just need to plug those holes on the seat now, flush cut those, and then put the oil on them, and got 2 more to go, and like TV magic, there they are. Plugged, sanded, re-oiled, looking fantastic. So what we have here is 2 chairs, and then a rocking chair there in the middle. And once they're done, let them sit out in the sun, and we're gonna go take a seat, see how these things feel. Man, they're pretty. Somebody's gonna be lucky. Oh yeah. That didn't feel good. That feels good though, that's nice. Don't forget, go ahead and subscribe. My wife tries to come in and take one. Like, no. I hit the rocking chair, sit back for a siesta. She walks off and then she decides to yell at me. What? But anyways, hey, I appreciate you all watching. Please hit that like, subscribe, stick around. I have no idea what we're doing next, but we'll see.